Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very cool edition of CLX Foundry Live. I'm your host, DJ Blue PDX. Joining me right now from our studios in Wichita, Kansas, is our lead technical expert. It's Paul Steffens, and of course, our master builder, Zach Killingsworth. Hi. So, first off, let's talk about. Actually, you know what? Let me introduce. We do have a special guest today, and I want to bring him in before I go through my whole opening spiel. Welcome in. He is a DSP engineer for BEACN, and it's Kaisho. Welcome in, my friend.
Hey guys,
so
me again. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So the fun thing is, one of these people who's watching right now is going to win some of your products along with some other cool things. We've got a competition and a giveaway going that is going to be absolutely amazing. Let's start off with what it looks like. This is a very custom device that the winner is going to get, and they're also going to win a BEACN mix crate, a BEACN mic, and a chair from Anthros. So that's a huge prize, and the designs are just fantastic. It all goes together. Now, of course, you want to follow all the instructions on the giveaway link, type exclamation giveaway for more information, and you're going to probably be asking about codes. Well, let me tell you how codes work. We give codes away on Tuesdays over on the green side. That's our Kick channel. On Thursdays, like today, we give codes out over here on Twitch. And then you can find codes on our social media while you're catching up with what's the latest and greatest going on with CLX. That is YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, at CLX Gaming. If you'd like to jump into the Discord and scrub through things, if you can find one, you might want to go to discord.gg/CLX Gaming. And then, of course, you can find them on my channel while I'm doing my most best. That's not a phrase I should ever say again. My most best at dying in a video game because I'm really good at it. So, with that being said, we've got a great project for our friend Jacob in Texas. Paul, take it away.
Yeah, so Jacob has configured a RAW off our website. So starting out with the processor, we've got an AMD Ryzen 9 7950X3D. To cool that, we've got a Leon Lee Galahad Trinity 360 AIO liquid cooler. This is in black, does have a lot of RGB on it as well. For our motherboard, we've got an Asus TUF Gaming X670E. This is the plus Wi-Fi version, very nice motherboard here. And for our memory, we have 2 sticks of T-Force 32GB DDR5 5600 speed. These do have the RGB heat spreaders on as well. And for storage, we have a bunch of drives today. So starting out with our M.2s, we have 3 Samsung 990 EVOs. Each one of those is 2 terabyte. And then we also have an extra 1 terabyte Seagate Barracuda hard disk drive. So a whole lot of storage on this build. For our video card, we've got the Asus TUF Gaming RTX 4090. This is a 24 gigabyte VRAM card. Very nice, going to match the motherboard and the case really well. We have 12 of our Game DS Aeolus M3 fans in black that have the little RGB ring around them. And for our power supply, we've got an EVGA 1000 watt GT. This is 80 plus gold. And we do have a black and white cable mod kit to go with that.
Yes.
Storage.
Right? Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot of M.2s. I feel like that is the max of what this board can handle. I want to take a look and see what our actual drive storage is, and we have oh, actually, there's 4 M.2 slots, so there's still room for one more. Big shout out over onto the kick side. Welcoming everybody over here on the purple side. I see Giratina. You know what? It only takes me 3 times to butcher a name before somebody just tells me to go away. Welcome. Happy Thursday to you as well. We got Violent Echo in here. Native Temperance. Life is Destiny. Also true. Nikki the Sneak. Yeah, listen. I'm in the top 2% of players in Rainbow Six Siege for the quickest death. And I feel like even though that's a terrible thing to own, it's not a life.
The quickest death?
Oh, yeah. The shortest lifespan. There we go.
I like that.
Yeah, shortest lifespan. And James Alcott, hello. How are you? Yeah, that case is amazing. So, talking about our case today, let's take a look at what we have got. We have got a CLX Raw NV7 in black. And we've done a lot of NV5s, but the NV7 is a little bit different. And as you can see, there is a slant at the bottom. We're going to how that works here in just a little bit. But first off, Paul, this is definitely what we consider like a 3/4 build because of that space. The motherboard does not sit on the back. So let's talk about what that means and why that's important.
Yeah, so this is a really large case. The NV7 is very large. It's got 2 exhaust fans here, but going to that the 3/4 design, that leaves us with room for a bunch of stuff in the back of the case. You can see we've got the hole for our power supply here, so our power supply is going to be going up top. We've got a couple doors for extra storage options, any 2.5 inch or 3.5 inch drives we can fit nicely in there, and a lot of good room to manage our cables as well.
Awesome. Now, noticeably, it's got that giant bar across the top, that huge space, and that, I believe, is our PSU shroud, or a power supply unit shroud. It's going to be at the top and separated.
That's right, yep.
How does that help?
So just overall, it makes the aesthetics of the build look a lot cleaner. You don't see the cables coming out of the power supply, but also the power supply is going to get its own fresh air in from the back and exhaust it out the rear. So none of the heat from that power supply is going to be in the main body of the case.
Awesome.
That's usually at the bottom, am I right?
Yeah,
most cases have it.
Typically in the bottom, yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, we'll let them get all the plastic off. Zach is bringing out our motherboard. This, of course, is a TUF Gaming X670E plus Wi-Fi. This has Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.2, and obviously 4 M.2 slots, which is pretty awesome. Let's take a look at our connectivity and see how that is going to be working out. On the very top, obviously, we've got our display port and our HDMI port. Down below there, we have our USB 3.2 Gen 1s, followed by our USB-Cs, which are 3.2 Gen 2s plus one 3.2 Gen 2 by 2. God, that's confusing. But what that means is 10 gigs up, 10 gigs down, 20 gigs altogether. Below that, we have our, obviously, our 2.5 gig Ethernet, our USB 3.2 Gen 1s, and then Wi-Fi 6E antennas, an entire array of sound, and your clear CMOS buttons, so you're not having to reach inside your case. All right. That is amazing. And, of course...
Is there commonly 2 antennas on those things?
Now there are, yeah.
There are, yeah, okay.
Yeah, which is...
Cool.
And I'm not sure why, either. Actually,
I
Paul...
can take a guess, but...
Paul, why are there 2 antennas instead of 1?
Because 2 is better than 1.
All right, I mean...
I wonder if one's for Bluetooth, maybe.
It does have Bluetooth as well.
That's
might
actually
be
a good idea. It's interesting that actually would make more sense. Now, button for him. So while he's getting all the framing put together for our AIO, we'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk real quick about what you're giving away in this giveaway this month. And that is the BEACN Mix Crate and the BEACN mic.
Yeah, right, great. For those of you who aren't familiar with our products, I'll give you a quick summary. We create this microphone I'm using right here. It's a dynamic microphone that has onboard processing and is powered by USB-C. Has an onboard headphone amplifier and all the effects you ever need to customize your microphone. And then there's also a Mix Create, which is a mixing device tuned for streamers and kind of eases and streamlines all of your audio needs, so you can essentially mix all of your sources coming into your computer into one audience mix. Goes right out to your system. You can customize all the levels, you can do submixes, and you can do all kinds of things with different routings. It makes it like very, very easy for anyone who is a streamer or a content creator, that kind of sort.
And of course, if you want to find out more, you can always go to that link that I just put in the blue and the purple side. That is beacn.com, BEACN, because O is not needed. All right, I'll tell you what is needed.
You sure?
Oh, really? So, and they also are having a sale on their mix right now, just the base mix,
Yeah.
which is different than the Mix Crate. How does that differ from the Mix Crate?
Yeah, so the Mix is essentially like it's a workflow system for any audio sources that if you're not a content creator, it would be better for you, because basically what it does is takes the control of all your Windows mixer levels. So like you have a Windows volume mixer, and you can adjust the volume for, say, Spotify or a game you're playing or Discord, and you're adjusting all those things in this Windows audio mixer. So what it does is it takes that whole UI and breaks it out into our screen, and you can adjust those on the fly. And also you can assign all of your audio applications to specific channels through that. So you basically never have to use the Windows UI ever again to adjust any audio levels. So it just,
I mean, that's a plus right there.
Exactly. It just doesn't break out all those things into a dedicated stream mix for you. So it's a bit simpler. And that's
Nice.
they're $99 right now for the rest of the month.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what is not $99 right now is what we're about to plug in this big bad boy. It is an AMD Ryzen 9 7950X3D. Paul, the X3D always just baffles me. Tell me about this processor.
Yeah, absolute beast of a processor here. It's a 16-core, 32-thread processor with a base speed of 4.2, and it will boost up to 5.7, so very fast.
Rogue Sweet asks a good question. Could the 2 Wi-Fi antennas be for up and downstream connectivity? One's up, one's down?
Could be.
Yeah, it's
I mean, that would make...
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I should
that
know
actually...
this stuff. I took a class in this at one point. I just don't remember anymore. It was a while ago.
Because I have... Mine is... Oh, no. Oh, yeah, no, well, I mean... My little one here...
Yeah, the Bluetooth ones are usually small.
Yeah, this one is just, it's got 2 plugs on it, and they both go into the same little antenna. Not that I use it, because I'm hardwired, but I have it on there so that I feel like I got the most out of my system.
Could be a Wi-Fi 6 thing too, yeah.
No actual useful purpose. But what does have a purpose is what we're mounting right now on this processor, and that is our Leon Lee Trinity 360 AIO in black. Now, AIO stands for all-in-one, but there are other ways that you can cool your processors. Paul?
Yeah, so another way you can cool is air cooling. That's typically with a block of metal that's got a fan on top of it, hence air cooling. So there's a couple good aftermarket ones as well that can perform as well as a 120 AIO, sometimes even up to a 240. So if you prefer air cooling, there are some good options there as well. My recommendation, though, is to always go with an AIO. They're just super easy to install, and the cooling they provide is really good.
Nice. Now, we offer AIOs and open loops here at CLX.
Yeah.
But I don't, do we offer air-cooled options? I don't feel like we do.
There are some. They're pretty uncommon, though.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
What are you talking about? I air cool every server I build.
There you go.
Submerge it in mineral oil.
And then freeze it.
I've seen those before.
Those are wild.
Yeah. How cold can it be, you know?
Yeah, right? Motherboard. I'm literally Googling why are there two antennas on my motherboard.
I did too, and I found a Reddit post. I don't recommend you go to it.
Oh, dear.
Thank you for the heads up.
I did the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, got it.
Reddit's being Reddit here.
Oh, yeah, Reddit, which is the cesspool of social interaction engagement. So it looks like the answer officially is correct, Rogue Suite. The two antennas on a motherboard may be used for transmit-receive diversity, which uses two separate antennas for both transmitting and receiving functions. This configuration can help protect sensitive receiver components from the high power used for transmitting, and it doesn't require a duplexer.
Perfect. Cool.
Well, if anybody has questions about that, please make sure that you ask somebody other than me. If you have questions, by the way, about anything that you hear on this show today, please let us know. We love to answer questions. And if you have any questions about BEACN mix crates or the BEACN mic, which honestly it's an incredible dynamic mic, ask away.
Yeah, please do. And especially if there's anyone out there who has our products or has been using them, and if they have any kind of feedback for us, we basically build all of our app is designed off of user feedback. Our features are designed off user feedback. We're quite a small company, so if any help is hugely great, I'm grateful for it. And so please reach out on here. I have the ability to kind of give you a quick show of the application if anyone has that request. So just let me know. Just
don't ram it in the chat, because we've got to talk about RAM right now, and it's two 32 gig sticks of T-Force DDR5 5600 RGB. Now, I don't believe we've used T-Force yet here, but we got 232 gig sticks, which is a total of 64. Paul, is there also an option to do 64 via 4 sticks? Also, why do you use the 2 and 4 slot first?
Yeah, so for the 2 and 4 slot, 9 times out of 10, every motherboard that's got 4 slots, if you're only populating 2 of them, you want to use slot 2 and 4. If you ever have any questions about that, you can look at the motherboard manual. It will tell you which spots to put in your RAM, depending on how many that you have. If you don't have the paper manual, it's on their website as well. And then I prefer using 2 sticks over 4. So we've got 64 gigs here and 2 32 gig sticks. Now if we use 416s, that would be the same capacity, and if we did some testing, we might find those 416s do perform a little bit better than the 232s. However, what I see in frame rate in games, I really don't notice a difference, so I like having the extra 2 slots for when I want to upgrade later.
Danny Butt does have a point over here on the purple side. You do have to ram it into the motherboard. Accurate. All right, let's start. Part, hey? Right, let's start with our 3 different M.2s. Now we are going to be using 3 different 2 terabyte Samsung 990 EVOs. These are M.2 NVMe's. So, which seems, in my opinion, excessive, but at the same time, I can't really, say anything because I have 6 terabytes in mine. Mine's a 2 and a 4, so I really can't talk a whole lot of smack here. Now, when you're opening up your M.2s, if you've got a heat shield on top of it or a heat spreader like you see down there, there's going to be some things you want to make sure you do before you place your drive in there. Zach?
Yes, we want to peel off all of our peels. Some motherboards will have more thermal pads on the actual motherboard, so we just want to make sure that we peel the peel off. And then every once in a while, we might need to install the actual mounting standoff for our M.2 that should come in the motherboard box. But it's essentially just one of these little screws. That's why there's a bunch of different constellations for them. It's because their NVMEs come in multiple sizes. Just the standard size that everybody knows and sees is 2280. So.
Got it. Nice.
Could I ask a question about NVMEs? What's the largest size they have? And then do you get integration and speed the larger it gets, or is it just sort of similar to RAM?
Typically, the larger they get, they're the really high-end ones. I think there's probably some wild capacities out there, but I think the biggest that I've used here is a 4 terabyte. I'm sure there's bigger ones, but as you get into those, they're usually really nice, so they're going to be just as fast as a smaller one. Yeah.
But probably expensive. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
It'd be cheaper to do it this way with multiple 2s rather than having.
Yep, for sure.
Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I think the largest I've seen on an M.2 is 4. But okay, now I'm gonna Google
I'm sure
that.
Samsung or Kingston, someone out there has
Toshiba might have a big
Toshiba
one,
might
too.
have a large one.
They should have a thing that just calculates the capacity of every game in your Steam list and then just orders memory for you as it gets bigger.
I mean, I feel like if
Ever install.
with Call of Duties, you know, Call of Duty should just issue the game on an M.2. I mean,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
On a 500
Saving some time.
gigabyte M.2.
Yeah.
that
Here's your game.
that way you're not reaching your entire limit, your cap
There's
of your
enough
data
for
flow
all
from
of
your
the
internet service provider.
updates and stuff that they release.
Ooh, actually, it's 8.
There you go.
8. Okay, great.
Who makes that one?
Let's see here. Saber Western Digital Black. No. What? I hate it when it does that. Hey, we've got all these other options. Like, that wasn't what I asked for.
It's that PCI expansion drive that you can just stick 20.
Yeah, a whole bunch of M.2s on the card.
Right.
Put it in.
Yeah,
We can game for life.
mine is still in the box. My M.2 tray. Yeah. Now, I know we have a lot of people who are fans of all the products here, but I want to talk about the fans we're going to be using today, and these are going to be our, let's see here. Come on, DJ, get it together. I had it, and now it's gone. I copied all of this over. Maybe I didn't. It is going to be I believe these are...
We have the M3s for this build.
They're the M3s? Okay. Here's a game disc. That's the only thing that I didn't copy onto my parts list. And we're going to have 12 of these. Now, the reason we have 12 is because this case is super unique in the way that it arranges its fans. Paul, what's so different about this case? And why can it fit 12 fans?
Yeah, so one is just so large. So we're going to have 4 on the back side that you'll see here. I'll be putting those in here in just a minute. And then it also has 2 exhaust fans in the rear. So a lot of rooms for fans. Going to have a lot of airflow in this case.
Gotcha. I copied the secondary storage twice. That's what I did. Because I'm special.
And I asked this before, sorry, but is it called it's a positive pressure you want to create? So it's...
Yes, yeah. So we want more
Right.
air coming in than we do leaving. That's what gives us the positive pressure there.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I have
getting in, I guess.
I bring this up all the time just because mine is ultra positive. We have 9 fans blowing in and 4 fans blowing out. So
The glass just explodes. Yeah.
right, it's like it's definitely under pressure. But we did a push pull on mine, so it's 3 on the back and 3 on the front of it just flowing through. This thing never gets. I mean, it gets warm, but I've never had it like blow hot air out of it.
Oh,
Which is going to be
nice.
great. The NV7s are really good, and we'll show you guys why in just a few. Now, a lot of people, especially content creators, are very, I mean, how our voice sounds is extraordinarily important. Sometimes you really want to get that rich, deep bass. Sometimes you just want to be able to scream without blowing out your mic. Now, that brings me to my point of there are two different types of mics. There's dynamic and there's condenser. So,
Yep.
what's the difference?
Typically, without getting to the nitty-gritty details of the design, dynamics are designed to sort of pick up things right in front of them. They're really good at for I guess your typical stage mic, for example, a musician playing music on the stage, and there's lots of background noise around them. They pick up kind of things at a close proximity. They tend to have a lot better frequency response because they're designed for things just in front. Whereas a condenser will be, you kind of put it on your desk. It picks up the room around you. They're not ideal for streamers because they pick up a lot of keyboard noise. They pick up like your chairs moving around.
They can pick up a mouse farting.
Exactly. Yeah. They require phantom power in a lot of cases. There's so that can be a little more technical for if you have an interface. But typically, higher quality microphones tend to be dynamic for this kind of purpose.
Yeah.
Like an SM7B, for example, is a very popular microphone, and that's a dynamic microphone.
And what I find interesting is the fact that I would say 99% of the decent dynamic mics are all XLR mics, but
Yes.
you guys managed to do it without being XLR dependent.
What's XLR?
Yeah, it's the cable. The 3 pins on it.
Yeah,
It's been around forever.
Okay.
It's like a big audio cable.
yeah.
Yeah. So they're typically you in that sort of scenario. So what we try to do here is we try to give people the effects of a good dynamic without the complexity of having to buy an interface, buying the cabling, and then after that you kind of need to do post processing and VSTs and that sort of thing. So it immediately becomes quite complex. So what we wanted to do is build a dynamic microphone. So we built a preamp into the microphone that's powered by USB and runs the dynamic microphone with a high gain stage. So we kind of designed our own circuit to be able to boost the gain up to about 70 dB. So it's a lot of gain for a preamp. And then we built in a processor as well that does all the effects processing for you on the microphone. So there's everything from active noise suppression. There's an expander gate. There's compression. There is a 9-band EQ. There's a bass enhancement. There's an exciter. There is de-essing. Everything you need is basically right into the microphone. And there's an app that we have that controls those parameters. So even without the application, it still operates the way you'd expect.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, what else is fantastic is also this case we're popping down here. Now, there's one thing to notice that there's little nubbins. There are little metal nubbins that you have to pay attention to because these are something called a standoff. Paul, how do these work? And also, how do you know which hole goes over the top of which standoff?
Yeah, so what the standoffs do is they separate the bottom of our motherboard from the frame of the chassis here. So these are just slightly raised, and this is where our motherboard mounting screws will actually go into. So you want to make sure you've got all those in the right spots. It's not the end of the world if you miss one, but let's say we had an extra one in this hole here. That would be making contact with the bottom of our motherboard where it shouldn't be, and so that can cause some shorting out and other issues as well.
Shout out to Officialist Hunter. Welcome in. Glad to have you here. Violent Echo mentions I'm working on switching from a master cooler air-cooled CPU cooler to an AIO, and I'm super excited to make the upgrade. Every time I watch Zach do it, I'm like, that's how. Yes.
We got you.
Basically. That's fantastic. So, which holes on the board do you need to screw into?
So there should be these silver ones that have kind of solder lands around them is how we describe them. You can see them right there. You'll see Zach going around the board. Typically on a full-size ATX board, you're going to have 9 of these. Some motherboards have 10, but typically it's 9. 3 in the top, 3 in the middle, and 3 in the bottom.
If you're doing a DIY and you're just trying to grab your own parts, please make sure you see and ensure there's compatibility between your motherboard and the case, because not all motherboards will fit all cases. We had somebody try and do that with parts at Community Bottom, and it was it caught on fire.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Well,
that would be a grounding problem, I guess, with those pins hitting the wrong spot.
Well, he messaged me. He's like, so hey, my PCIe slot doesn't line up. What? My PCIe slots aren't lining up to where I need them, and so I took all of them out, and it still is just wonky, so I'm just going to use tin snips. Is that cool? What? No.
Thanks.
No. The case is made the way it's made for that very specific reason. He's like, okay, well, what if I already did it? Then why
Since
are
this
you
should not be included in a PC build?
why are you asking me if you well, because somebody here said that I might be crazy. And I said,
You got the angle grinder.
oh God. Well, he turned it on and it worked for about a day, and then it shorted, smoked, and caught on fire. Melted his M.2s and everything. I was just, good Lord.
I actually took an angle grinder to my monitor this last weekend. It's
On purpose?
Yeah, I'm trying out this like curved one, and for my monitor stand, the back when it works, the mounting thing, and so I just angle grinded the hell out of it, and
All
now
right,
it fits.
all right.
It still
We had a
works.
saying. We had a saying at the bike shop. You can't find it, grind it.
Yeah, there you go.
Also true.
If you need a tool and all you have is a big old
Video
hunking
of
tool,
that.
you can grind that all the way down to the little small tool that you need.
The plate that goes on, like, you put the plate on a monitor and then it slides into the stand. That plate where the monitor, actually the base monitor stand goes, was sticking out too far, and it was just solid metal. So I'm like grinding
God.
it, but then my grinder, like the wheel was a little large, so I'm cutting into like the plastic shroud and it's melting. So I was like, I hope this thing turns
don't
back
need that
on when
anyway.
I'm done. Yeah. So it's on the monitor stand and it's working, so we're good.
My rule of thumb that I got taught as a child is if it jams, force it. If it breaks, it needed replacing anyways.
Yeah, that's right. Or it was built cheap. Yeah, you got to go.
Right? There we go. The Jabberwocky. This was fun back in the old days. Super case modding? Yeah. But, so, speaking of case modding, I want to point something out real quick while we're at this angle, because you'll notice the feet are at an angle, and it puts the bottom at the angle, which makes the fans not blow straight up. Now, first of all, it's going to give you a little bit better room on the bottom, but when those fans are placed at an angle, they do two things. They're going to blow fresh air up to your graphics card, which is necessary. It's also going to blow air up around onto the glass. Now, the heat dissipation from this type of tempered glass is extreme, and the faster you cool the glass down, the faster it can absorb more heat, and the faster it can put that heat out. It also creates a vortex because you've got the four on the back, that pushing, and then you've got that big gap back there, and that's going to be for two exhaust fans. I don't think I've ever seen a machine with two exhaust fans on it before.
No, this is the only case I know of that has it.
Yeah. And from what I understand, they are run incredibly cool. So speaking of cool, let's talk about those feet down there. With that kind of an extra angle, it gives you obviously a little added air coming in from the backside. But you want to be sure that you're making sure to sit this in the right place. Paul, what are good ideas and a best plan of action for where you're going to sit your PC?
Yeah, so really just any flat, harder surface is where you want to set this. You don't want any of this area here in the bottom of your case to be obstructed by any carpet or anything like that. That's just going to give you smoother airflow inside and keep everything cooler.
Nice. Excellent. What should you not set your PC on?
Like a small dog or a cat or, something like that it's going to suck up a lot of stuff. Yeah, grass.
Kiddie pool.
Yeah. Dinner.
You're missing a hamster. Don't leave it on the
A
ground.
bowl of spaghetti.
Just get sucked up into the fan.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You see it just like this. Oh my God. What happened?
Glitter.
Oh my
A bowl
gosh.
of glitter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, pool of glitter. Yeah, that's right.
Danny Butt asked the question. She goes, I got a question. It might sound dumb, but what does a BEACN mix create?
It's not dumb at all. It's maybe this would be a good opportunity to give a quick glance at the app. Is that okay? I can use that as a guide. Perfect.
We can do that. Let's check it
Hold
out.
on. So this is the Mix Create UI.
Oh, we're almost there.
These are all
There we go.
assignable to different things. You good? All right, great. Perfect. There we are. So this is showing a bunch of different virtual audio channels. So what these is they're app assignable. You can see that I've got like Microsoft Edge as a browser here. Don't judge me. Coming into here, and then I've got music. You can add Spotify. Anything creating audio will show up in this list. You can drag and drop stuff around. You can move Discord. This is essentially reassigning all of my audio channels coming into my computer onto all these virtual channels. And what you can't see is I've got the Mix Create device on my desk, and it is a series of knobs. You can probably see a picture of it on the website. and it controls these things from my desktop. So now I've got a couple different channels here. I've got my personal mix and I've got an audience mix. So the whole purpose of this device is to essentially create a congregated audio list of all these things, and it goes out to one audience mix. So when you go into OBS, you just drop that one audience mix in that's optimized with all these settings, and then you have your stream is all set up exactly the way you want it to.
Nice. That's amazing.
Yeah,
so you basically got multiple different ways that you can program it. Like for me, I have one that is for DJ. Just for DJing, and it is solely its whole purpose is so that I can do stuff from the DJ booth.
Exactly, and you don't have to actually go into this app. Like I can move things around with the mouse if I want to, but the controller in front of me actually gives me the ability to mute things. Like I can mute my microphone, as you just saw. I can mute my chat to Discord. I can mute it to just me. I can mute it to just my audience, or I can mute it to both.
Now,
depending on how you want to create that.
Can you make your game, especially if we're talking about a dual PC system here, can you make your game audio in your headset louder without making it louder on stream? Or
yes.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
Exactly. What I'll use is I'll use browser as an example here. Pretend this was the game channel, so your game would show up under game here. I could actually control. I can do it right here. I can unlink these right now, so now I can actually make my audio louder while not making it louder for my audience.
Got it.
And then I press this fancy button right here, and that actually switches me over to monitor my audience mix in real time. So if I want to do an audio check, I can make sure the levels are good. I'm good. I can press that, and then I can switch back to my own personal mix. Then I can mute things if I want to one channel or the other.
Shut up. That is awesome.
Again, and then they'll move around with that. So I can do this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they'll scale accordingly if you needed to.
That's awesome.
And all these channels are mapped to a screen device right in front of me here. So
basically, a BEACN Mix Crate is the executive level, awesome kind of streamer tool that content creators definitely would love.
Exactly. It streamlines everything. And one other thing it does is it's nice. I don't know how much you guys like using the Windows UI to control your audio. I certainly don't.
Hate it.
So exactly. So what this does is we actually monitor the default devices in your system as well, and we'll automatically set them to what they're supposed to be. So even if something comes in, like you plug a screen in or a different audio device, it will automatically set it back to where it should be, and then assign it to an audio channel for you, if it knows what it is. So we monitor that stuff, and then you never have to go into Windows and assign audio output devices ever again. You just leave everything at default in all your applications, and this just handles everything for you.
Yeah. Things are actually, wow. Good deal, too. And they come in black, they come in white. Now, your mics also have varying colors of tips.
Yes, exactly. So I can actually, the foams are customizable. We have a few different colors on the website. They come in black normally, but you can get red, purple, white, I believe. There's a few others that are coming out.
That's cool.
And this is a quick example of the mic UI. Since I'm here, I'll show you. This just essentially is controlling all the microphone devices that you're hearing through my microphone. So there's an active noise suppression, expander, compressor. There's a dedicated headphone amplifier in here that can power any headphones on the market.
Wow.
A 9-band EQ, bass enhancement, exciter, and then a guide for setting up your mic, your gain, and then an output for setting up your output level. So all this stuff will, once you set it, you can kind of forget it, and it tries to make it pretty easy for you out of the gate.
That is awesome. And of course, the winner of this month's giveaway, as we've had several different giveaways where we've been able to do this. The winner will be receiving a BEACN Mix Crate and a BEACN mic from our friends over here at BEACN. For more information, head on over to beacn.com. It's BEACN without an O because the O went to the com. All right, so one thing we do want to point out about this build is we've got some extra stuff in there. The first thing I want to point out is what's sitting directly in front of Paul, and that is our secondary storage. Now, we've already got 3 terabytes, but we have an additional 1 terabyte Seagate Barracuda HDD. Now, that stands for hard disk drive. Paul, how is that different from an M.2? or an SSD?
Yeah, so this is the older style, like you said, hard disk drive. Now we call this a mechanical drive because it has moving parts inside of here. And that's why we refer to the M.2s as a solid state drive, because those don't have any moving parts. So these drives are typically a lot slower than the M.2s. However, they're very economical for having extra storage. So photos, videos, games, stuff like that. You can get a lot of storage space for not a lot of money by going with one of these. Always recommend putting your operating system on an M.2, and then, you know, this saves money for your budget if you want to have an extra storage drive.
And I will say, having gone from just an SSD over to an M.2 was night and day difference. I can't imagine how much faster your response time is if you're going from an HDD to an M.2. But the other thing I do want to cover is this gigantic beast of a box in front of you. And this is going to be our graphics card today. Also, an Asus TUF Gaming RTX 4090. Now, this is a pretty extreme card. It's got 24 gigs of GDDR video RAM. And Paul, tell us, how does it feel? How heavy is it? Because I feel like this is going to be needing a anti-sag bracket.
Yep, this is a very large card, very heavy, just getting out of the box right here. Obviously, it's the king of the jungle right now. It's the 4090. I like that this customer went with the TUF to match the motherboard, and the overall aesthetics of the TUF are going to match the black case as well. Yeah, this is a beast right here. You can see
oh my God.
on the back.
Do you think this will just keep getting bigger? What do you guys think? Suddenly it'll be like a separate tower. Yeah,
no kidding. That wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, no.
No, me either. Like a dedicated video tower.
There's some like docks, you know, you just get like a little dock to put your video card in.
It's getting a little ridiculous.
It is.
I like it. I like it, but
yeah, but how amazing do our games look? I'll be very honest. I do love the back plate. Yeah, with the new updates for Star Citizen. I don't know if you play any Star Citizen, Guy Show, but I've
looked at it.
The update recently was absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Cool. It is so much smoother than it used to be. I'm getting mad frames on it. Plus, the UI is so unbelievably smooth now.
Ooh, that's nice when you get those updates. They usually go the other way. It just gets worse.
Jabberwocky mentions GPUs will soon be needing a separate power station to operate. Oh, dear God.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like, imagine if you have to have 2 different power supplies in your machine.
It almost makes sense to do it, like have it like more isolated.
Yeah,
that's basically a computer on its own right there.
Then we'll go back to just having 2 600-watt power supplies in one system instead of like 1,000-watt power supplies.
Dedicated video power supply. See, that's like a marketing thing you can do.
Yeah, that's it.
Speaking of marketing things, guess what Ivory dropped? And I feel like I may have missed one earlier, but he dropped the Ryzen code. It is Ryzen-RZAR. RZAR, also known as people who are no longer in power. Romeo Zulu Alpha Romeo. That is your code for a Ryzen code. I believe those are 200, I think. Let me get my code list out and see what I've got.
Or is it a retired Charizard?
No, Ryzen's are worth 100. 100 entries. There we go. I know there was another one possibly, but dang. We're going to need a reactor soon. Yes. So it is RYZN-RZAR. All right.
I've always wondered with these with giveaways and raffles in general. Is there like a system that you guys use to like pick? Like, is there like a random number generator that's just like boop or like?
Yeah. The site will actually do the random choosing amongst everybody, so that we have no skin in the game.
I figured. Yeah. Exactly. Cool. Yeah. Built into the whole system.
Yeah. Oh, Craig. You're adorable. All right. Now I know we got Hunter over here on Twitter. Jabberwocky, you live in Australia. Oh my gosh. I used to, before the pandemic, I used to spend all of my falls there. I've friends and family in Perth and down in Albany and then over in Brisbane. So, yeah. Where are you from? In Australia was one of the, yeah. I've nothing but problems with, yeah. Clean pipes, that's why you have your name there. Okay, well, I'll tell you what doesn't bite, and that is going to be what we are putting on our power supply. Now, we could use regular cords and regular cables, but we're going to be using cable mod cables. Paul, what are cable mod cables?
So cable mod cables are sleeved cables. That's what I've got in my hand right here. And these are just an overall really nice aesthetic improvement to your PC here. Going from just typically the regular black braided cables. See, we've got black and white as well. These come in all the different colors under the rainbow. So you can mix and match and do however you want. You just want to make sure if you're buying these, that the kit that you're buying is compatible with the power supply that you have.
Are
Awesome.
there
Now,
many different styles?
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Power supplies?
Yeah, and they're all brand specific. So, yep, that's where you got to be careful on.
Viking Gamer, welcome in. This looks very tough. I'm gonna be honest.
Nice.
They make it look easy, but yeah. Wait, what is that? Oh God, now I get it.
1F though.
Good Lord.
Not to be confused with 2F.
Have you seen RGB cables? Yes, we looked for some, but we didn't have any. Oh, when we built my case has a fully white cable mod system inside of it. So
There's RGB power cables.
Yeah, you can get. They're called the streamers. Is the main one right now, and they're kind of like extensions almost. But yeah, they're pretty sick when you get them in there.
So the shield glows, I guess. That's
Yeah, it has
cool.
like a LED strip on the outside that glows. It looks cool.
Or RGB.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
more
I'm a little
RGB, the more
disappointed with the
XP.
amount of. Exactly. Yeah. I'm getting a little bored of the RGB animations they have on most products. So it's like they haven't updated that in a long time. It's like a few just like color cycles.
Yeah, it's starting to just be normal now.
I guess
you know? It's like not special.
Exactly.
Jacob Tebow, thank you so much. We're loving it. We do have a request for somebody to type the code over on the red side if possible. The ones and the APHIS codes work, but not the Ryzen's. Need more cowbell? Yes. We can always use more cowbell. Okay, so while he's strapping that all in, do we want to talk about our power supply real quick?
Yeah, let's do. I'll get it out.
All right.
But go ahead, DJ.
All right, so we're going to be using an EVGA Supernova 1000 watt GT80 Plus, and I think I have the EVGA 1300 watt is what we did on mine. So, but again, I chose that because I figured if I ever upgrade this 3090, it's going to need more power. So this is going to be a fun one because obviously we have the ability to use cable mods. That means that this is a modular power supply. Paul, what different kinds of power supplies are there?
Yeah, so typically you've got three main types of power supplies. You got non-modular, semi-modular, and modular. So modular is what we have right here. That means none of the cables are pre-soldered in. You can see me getting this out of the box right now. Inside the box are all the extra cables. Now typically those are what we would use, but since we bought a cable mod kit, we're going to be using the fancy cables.
Now, the one cool thing that I love looking at with these, and that's the thing that I love about the cable mod kits, is the combs. And people might ask, what the hell is a comb doing on cables? Well, Paul, show us how that works.
Yeah, so these cable combs, we actually have a newer cable mod kit now that came with these pre-installed. So these combs are kind of tedious to install if you're doing them on your own. They included a couple extra, so I'll get one of these out here for the smaller ones. So you guys can at least see what it is. These are the little combs, and what they do is they keep every little wire in line. So you can see these ones on here, we can spread them out wherever our bend is and make it look nice, but it keeps everything looking super neat and flush inside the case.
Nice.
That's so nice.
Yeah, I dig it. Speaking of cables and things, let's talk about the connectivity on the Mix Create, because the BEACN Mix Create has got some options, a lot of different options. How does that work?
Yeah, it does. Well, the device itself is USB-C, so it's quite simple. Both the microphone and the device and the Mix Create are both just USB-C powered, and they communicate through that with the app. But what we've done to make things a little different is we've actually given the ability for anyone to add any hardware input device in your system into our mixer. So if you have, for example, a interface that you have another microphone or two other microphones or a USB microphone or whatever else you're using, you can integrate that into our mixer like seamlessly by just checking a box. So if you, for example, if you wanted to play guitar on your stream and you wanted to bring that into your mixer, you could easily do that by adding an interface to your system, plugging it in, and then just adding it into our mixer as an input device. So you don't necessarily have to use our mic to use the Mix Create. They're separate from each other. That being said, one benefit of the microphone is if you what I showed you the mixing software before, you can actually enable the mixing software on the microphone and just have the microphone. So if you don't want to go for the leap and get the Mix Create and the whole package and you just want a new microphone, you can actually access all of that mixing software for free with the microphone.
Oh, no
You just
kidding.
don't have the actual physical controller on your desk to control it. So it won't be long until you'll want that, but it's a good way to kind of get your feet wet with the products.
Nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely love it.
And I know I mentioned this last time, but say your buddy is hosting a podcast, you can take that over to his place and set it up. Since all of your settings are already on there, you don't have to.
Exactly. Yeah, you can bring it in and plug it right into their laptop
super
into a
cool.
hub, and you just have your mic coming in with all your settings that you had at home. You don't even need to install the application.
That's super
So,
cool. I want one just
the
for
reason
that
for that
aspect.
is because
It's like, I'm here.
Yeah, it's nice.
I've got my mic. What do we need mic'd? I don't know. I just have mine.
Got it.
It's cool.
you have your exactly, yeah, and it stores all of your parameters, and all of the effects are actually processed on the microphone. So the application is very, very lightweight. It doesn't require any processing time at all because there's no actual audio processing going on.
Nice. I did get a message about the two codes that I missed earlier. Apparently, while we were talking, I missed them. One of them is ONES, ONES, dash GNMR. That is Golf, November, Michael, Romeo. The other one is APHIS dash Tesh, like John Tesh. And if you don't know who that is, it's because I'm old. AFYS dash TESH, Tango Echo Sierra Hotel. There we go.
I think you can fit some more storage in there.
Right? Just
Yeah,
enough.
we do have this bay here, so we could fit 2 more
For
SSDs up.
SSD.
Yeah.
Let's drop that power in there.
There we go. Now we get our power supply up in there. So one thing that we can look at from this angle that you can see is that bottom slant. You know, see how it's angled like that? That's what I was talking about. The fans are going to be blowing diagonally. So it'll get sucking up the fresh air from the graphics card, but it's also going to create that vortex because you've got the 4 coming in the back, bouncing off of that wall. That's going to be rotating up, and you've got dual exit points and blammy. Massive airflow. I was talking with the guys from Bandex about doing a display where it's no hardware in there, just the fans, and then using some club smoke, some vanilla smoke, and a fog to show the pathway of it, see how it works.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. The other
Something I'd like to see.
other thing that's really cool is that the Vandex cases are unique in the sense that they have enabled the use of Velcro strips, Velcro ties that are built into the case itself. So as you can see, Zach's already used them for part of the organizational structure. So Zach, when
Can we
it
talk
comes
about why we don't have lasers inside of cases? Need more lasers, I think. That's the next thing.
I've actually seen one. Wait, what?
Have you?
Oh God,
a little
it
laser
was.
projector through the fog. It'd be really cool.
Oh, that
Slot
would be
machines,
awesome.
Upgrade.
Oh, somebody at, oh God, it was that year at DreamHack Dallas, like, I don't know, 2 years ago?
I think I might have been there.
2 years ago when we did all the upgrades for people. There were some really incredibly, unique and creative builds. There was a Matrix build that was wild. There was a Star
toilet
Wars build. There was a
toilet.
toilet build.
Maybe I was there. I wonder if that was the year I was there.
But
It was pretty cool.
there was one that had it had a Cylon from Battlestar Galactica in it, and the laser was pointing straight into the end of the gun, so it looked like he was firing out. I was just thought,
Cool.
That's genius. Good Lord.
That was a pretty big highlight of DreamHack. Is like just walking around through the LAN party and just seeing like all the groups that meet up and all the cool stuff they build, and they have their banners, and it was a really cool experience. Of all the conventions I've been to, that was one of my favorites for that reason.
Well, it was the first time that I finally understood that people, like, that's one of their things. They were going to go and just sit next to each other, hang out, drink, eat, have
play games
fun,
for 3 days straight. Yeah.
Yep. Just run with it. And the decorations
Do what they
that
do
they
at home,
did,
but together. Yeah.
right? The decorations they did was great. I was
was cool.
fascinated by that. So
Me too. It was really heartwarming actually to see all these people just like everyone's hugging each other. They're all stoked to see. They've never met before, but they've known each other for years. You know, it was
Right.
pretty neat experience.
yeah, and to know that that is your only, like, that's the one time you get to see each other. It's like it
Yeah,
used
and
to
I
be
look
like
forward to it all year.
back when I was on Mixer, that was the one thing that we loved about PAX, and because we didn't get to physically see each other aside from 2 to 3 times a year, that was it. But yeah, you just
Yeah,
kind of
it's pretty cool.
pick up where it
It's a
left
nice
off.
feeling in those places.
Yeah, it's been awesome. PAX is slowly getting back to its normal self.
I've never been to PAX. Be fun though.
PAX West is huge.
Yeah.
It's massive.
I imagine.
Yeah. Let's see here. Drew mentions from the time the giveaway is a week old, it's helter skelter to get codes. That's where you lost all track of. Yeah. Here's the thing, Drew. I'll just be very honest with you. There are many different places you can find codes. We drop codes in on Kick on Tuesdays during the live stream. We drop codes on here on Twitch on Thursdays. You can find codes in our oftentimes through our social media, and that's CLX Gaming, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. You can watch old broadcasts on YouTube if you need to catch up on a few things. You can find them in our Discord at discord.gg/CLX Gaming. You can also find them on all of my streams. So there you go. Many different places, many different ways, not too helter-skelter, just, hey, it's about paying attention. But also, there's a lot of people who track and look and notate, so you never know who you'll make friends with. I don't know why I looked crazy right there, but I did.
You never know.
Oh my
Friends
God.
everywhere.
Now,
Don't mess with this guy.
let's see. So what are you going to do with all the extra cables there, Paul?
So the extra cables, there is not a lot since this has quite a few things in this build, but the extras will go in the accessory bag. That way if the customer ever needs them, they'll have them ready to use. We typically only have to use like one SATA line for this, but this one we ended up having to do 2, and that was maxing it out. So
This one-
6 SATA connections in this build.
Pretty much the only cable that will be left out of this cable mod kit will be the Molex one.
Which is good. We don't
Hopefully
want to
nobody
use
gets
all
You
of
have all the cables that came with the power supply too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hopefully nobody posts a code that subtracts entries. Here's one, June-JN15. That is Jammer November 15. That is a code. And if it takes away entries, I'm going to laugh so hard. This will be eternally
Someone
funny
else's
for me.
entries though, not yours.
It randomly assigns it to some other
You
person.
should actually do that, yeah. You get to pick who it is.
That's hilarious. All right. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is this graphics card. Let's jump back over to this. Of course, is our Tough Gaming, Asus Tough Gaming 4090. Let's take a look at the power. What kind of power connection is this going to require?
So this will be using the new 16-pin power connection, so it's actually pretty small. Now CableMod does have one in this
Awesome.
kit, so that's really nice. We'll be able to plug it in here and not deal with the dongle. But as you can see on the end of this, where it's going to go into our power supply, it's 3 8-pins going into our power supply. So it does require a lot of power, but this
3.
new cable, I love how small it is,
Good.
easy to use.
Lord.
I'm telling you guys, there's going to be a dedicated power supply in the next 2 years. You're going to have a second slot for a power supply in your PC.
Yeah.
Have like a dedicated one for your.
Like this is for the video card power supply. It'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wouldn't doubt it. Eventually, they're going to hit a point where they need that. Maybe not though. I mean, I guess the idea with advancement in technology is it becomes more efficient, right? Isn't that the point?
Yeah, and the mid-range and pretty much everything under the 4090 is pretty power efficient. Not that the 4090 isn't, it's just so powerful, it needs
It's
that.
just a beast, yeah. More power.
More
We don't
power.
care about the bills. More power.
Right.
Yeah, like I know later today, this little puppy is going to be heating this room up just a bit because we're going to play in some Siege. But
We got Elden Ring tonight. Come on, DJ, join the hype.
Oh, is that the release coming out
Yeah,
today?
the
wish
DLC
that I
comes
was
out
interested.
at midnight. So,
I'm gonna lose one of my friends for the next week.
yep.
Close all the windows, all the doors. That game's so funny. I think it's so good, but I have a hard time with like the solo defeat
It's-
and darkness that it sets upon me. For I'm just like it's so like somber and dark, and then add on top of that is like endless frustration, and just it puts me in a weird space.
Yeah.
right. No Leaf Clover says my 4080 Super is less power than my less power than my 3090 was. Like as in powerful or power consumptive. Is that a word?
Consumptive. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It is now.
It is now.
Power hungry, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, like in terms of power consumption, it takes less. Well, it's a more efficient. I would say probably more efficient build out. The sweet zebra sleeving, I know, Gleam, right? The white and black are great. I dig it. Now, when you're plugging these things in, Zach, what is some? I would say. What are some best practices to ensure that your cable management's being done correctly and you're plugging things into the right spots?
A good rule of thumb would be to always leave a little bit of troubleshoot slack inside the system, i.e. the best way to fix most tech problems is have you turned it off and on again? Well, when it comes to actually building it, it has you unplugged it and replugged it back in or reseated it. So I like to leave a little bit of access inside the system to where we can kind of get some fingers behind it to wiggle it around so that we can loosen it instead of having it super taut. And then plus, it's a cable mod, so we kind of want to see some of these colored cables. So having a little bit extra out is not a bad thing.
Nice. Now, I will say that my initial attempt at handling cable management was just to yell at it profusely and drink more, and it was not effective. Definitely scared my dogs.
Drink more and yell at it.
Neighbors are like, "What is going on in there? I can't
that
get the
works.
cable manager right." Well, if you unplugged it and plugged it back in, I don't need your pity.
Don't you know that you reseat?
Like, sarcasm is not fair.
Must have very tolerant neighbors.
No
offense.
My neighbors have had to cover for me on multiple times when we've had deliveries happening, and of course I'm down here playing a horror game, screaming my butt off. Sorry, but just at the top of my lungs because I get scared easy. I love it, but it still happens. They're like, "Is he okay?" And it's like, "Oh yeah. No, he's a gamer. That's what he does. He's just probably playing something terrifying." She's like,
"They're fine. Yeah.
Should we check on him?" No. There was a problem. The dogs would be barking.
Yeah. If the screaming stops, it's a problem. Yeah.
Right. If it's absolutely silent in the house during the day,
yeah,
you got to ask questions. then there's an issue.
When the kids go quiet, something's up.
Right. Oh my gosh. I learned that real fast as a nanny. If there's noise, cool. If there's not, something horrific is about to happen.
Someone's drawing on the walls.
Oh God. Yep. Yep.
The same with dogs, I think.
Yeah.
Well, unless they're sleeping.
Did you know there's a clear sealant that you can get for your walls, indoor, that you will be able to take off permanent marker?
So they can just draw on it and then it'll come off. Oh,
yeah, and you can wipe, and it wipes off. I mean, you don't want your kids drawing on the walls, obviously, but
Is it shiny?
and I think that's the only problem is that it results in a high gloss finish. then
Nice. Everything's all shiny. in the house.
everything shines.
Just put saran wrap on your walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Just get a new kid.
My first floor, right? You can make another one look just
I'm not
like
a father.
it. Just try again.
One day.
There's plenty of times where
Oh
I wouldn't
my
mind
gosh.
traded in my kids.
Yeah. Let's see here. My case is 90% glass. I hate it. Glass cases are beautiful. What do you mean? Yes. Coming down here to Woke Suite, I was fortunate enough to be able to use your machines in the free play area at DreamHack Dallas this year.
Oh yeah,
Awesome. That's
that is
great.
awesome.
There were like 1,000 machines and in there, and I never once had an issue. Worked super well despite throwing a whole conference of people at them. Great builds. Well, listen, that is good feedback, my friend.
Yeah, thank
Excellent
you.
feedback.
Cool.
Really glad to
Appreciate
hear
it
you played
greatly.
on them too. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's always a ton of machines, and they're great. I knock on wood. This is from our friends at CLX.
Thanks.
Fantastic.
Almost.
Fantastic.
Speaking of things that don't crash, we just released a new beta software too. So anyone who's on our current build right now, it's about 8 months old right now. So we've been working really hard on stability upgrades. So come over to our Discord. You can get on our beta group. We'll send you the beta. You can test it out, and then if you are more patient, then sometime the next month or so, we'll be releasing it to public. So if you're having any issues at all, they'll likely be resolved.
Very nice.
Okay, so here's a question: how would people get to your Discord?
Oh, we provide you a link.
Is
It would be just a BEACN Discord.
Discord.gg/BEACN. BEACN.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
There we go.
Yeah, BEACN. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
And within there is like a beta application thing, and you can kind of reach out to us. And since I'm on the topic of that, if you come over there, whoever is the lucky winner of this giveaway here, and you're watching the stream, please come into our Discord, reach out, and I could personally offer you a setup. If you want to get on a call with me, I will walk you through the app, make sure you're all set up properly, or if it's not me, then it'll be one of our tech support guys. So please do come over once you get rigged up.
Nice. Speaking of rigging, we're about to put something in here that's awesome, but I want to talk about real quick what it means. So we need to. Are we not using anti-sag hoo-ha?
Yes, it just attaches after the fact.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, this is
So
such
this
a
is our
beast. We got to put one in
Giant
after.
card.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about what an anti-sag device is and why it's important.
Yeah, so with cards this big, once we get it in there, you can see where it mounts. If you want to show them real quick, Zach.
Which way?
That
This
is
side?
ridiculously
Yeah, so
huge.
that is where the main mount for the video card is, that back end right there. But we don't have any support on the opposite end down here. So an anti-sag bracket is going to be in this side of the case, and it's going to give support on right here. That way we don't get any damage to our motherboard or the video card itself.
Gotcha.
Does that come with the mother?
This comes with the
video
case.
card?
So some
Yeah.
cases come with it,
Cool.
some video cards come with it. The main thing we look for is one that actually mounts to the frame of the chassis. We find those to be a lot more rigid and just do the job better, but there's a lot of different options for them out there.
Zip ties.
Yeah.
Hashim says that entered into the shot like a Star Destroyer. And Source 3.quick follows, it's the Battlestar Gigantica.
Nice.
Do you guys recommend using surge protectors in case the power goes out?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. It's your PC, you know, these things aren't cheap, so I would definitely have it plugged in. Like for mine, I just have the power strip that's got the surge protection in it. If you really want to get a lot of extra protection, you can do a UPS, which is an uninterruptible power supply. And essentially it looks like a power strip with the surge protector on it, but it's in a big box. So it's got a giant battery in there, and that way if you lose power, it'll allow you to save your work. It'll give you a few minutes of time on your PC, even if you lose power.
So one thing coming from the Buy More that I learned about power or surge protectors that is very important. You want everything to go through that surge protector. So say this customer goes to plug in their cat cable to the 2.5 lane. if that is coming directly from the wall or directly from the router or modem, wherever it's coming from, electric current can surge through that cable and still go into the system, even though your power supply is plugged into a surge protector. So you want to have everything that goes into the system going into a surge protector first, or else it can bypass. If you have that one cable, had a customer that came in, they had their TV all plugged in, and they're like, why did it get fried? It got fried because they had coaxial plugged into the TV.
Wow.
Came in through the coaxial.
Oh,
so be sure that if you do use a surge protector, everything that you plug into your system goes through that protection itself, because that is a way that power can still find. So
When we updated all of the outlets in here, as I was turning this from our entertainment room into my studio, I did all surge protected outlets as well, because I'm like,
Cool.
that just drives me nuts. And so that way I've got power surge protectors plugged into surge protector outlets.
There you go.
There's double the options, double the fun,
double
and
wrapped.
everything is covered by that.
It actually predicts power outages.
Right? Just learned something new today. A new fear unlocked. Oh, Hashim. Oh, you're talking about that. James Olcott over on the red side says you need a 2001 Space Odyssey PC or a themed PC. Oh, that could be fun. With just a giant red eye. It has been so long since I've seen that movie. I think it's because that movie tends to put me to sleep.
It's a little slow.
Just a scotch.
I can't recall watching it, actually. I must have seen it a while ago.
Yeah, I watched it once and thought, why am I watching this? And I know it's considered, it's like one of the, it was a film studies class, and so they're like, it's one of the greatest sci-fi films ever, blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, I feel like Alien also should be right up there. Aliens should be right up there. But the special effects at the time for the time that was created were absolutely outside the box. They were really pushing outside the box, which was really great thing to see. But similar to Alien and Aliens, they were pushing those boundaries like wild. In fact, one of the best examples of a film that is relatively difficult to watch for so many reasons, but the original Dune, David Lynch's Dune, that came out in the early 80s. Back when
I have seen that, but
back when Patrick Stewart had hair. So
I don't believe it.
but like the things that they did in that movie for a special effects standpoint were just astoundingly unique and unexpected for that time. But unfortunately the writing was just horrible.
Yeah, I do remember watching it and being having a hard time getting through it, but
There was so much monologuing. Like, we're missing large swaths of the story because she just keeps talking over and then everybody has their internal thoughts, and so everybody is standing there staring at each other while you have an 8-sentence monologue. I'm thinking, come on, Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Oh, go ahead.
Was it the last stream I was on that we were talking about the Dune movie? I think it had come out, and and how did we get into the complexities and how far the books go? Like the story and how weird it gets. I've had some people telling me I thought
it was
I hope
one
they don't
book.
make the movies go that long.
Yeah, I thought it was one book, and then someone I know is reading it, and they're like, I'm on the fourth one. I'm like, what?
There's
And they're like, I quit after the fourth. I'm like, jeez.
And apparently the last 2 or 3 were written by the author's son.
Yeah.
And they get really weird.
Yeah.
They're like I don't know if they could ever make a movie with the content in those books. They're very, very strange. I'm not going to ruin it for anyone, but yeah,
that's why.
I hope they stop at some point.
Star Trek: The Motion Picture had an epic launch sequence. It did. That actually was, again, far before its time. It was incredible. But then there's Blade Runner. I loved Blade Runner. I thought Blade Runner was amazing back in the 80s. I thought Star Trek: The Motion Picture was the worst of the films.
Come on!
What? It was... I mean, they redid it and added different effects. Okay, cool. I can handle that. But it just, when I saw it as a kid, it was so difficult to stay awake during it.
American Graffiti. There's a good movie.
That was, and that's also a George Lucas film.
That's
which
George Lucas before Harrison Ford became popular.
Yeah. Which is nuts. Alrighty. This is going to look really good. I like just the hints of white all over the place. And I'm loving the fact that Leon Lee cap is going to be shining up. Is next month Star Wars Outlaws? Yes. And I'm super excited. I'm hoping that I can get in early access with Ubisoft. That would be really great.
There's a lot of hype for this new Space Marines game at the GameCon Canada. Was that? It was a really cool game.
Yeah,
it looks neat. There's a play area and stuff you could go in. I never got a chance to do it, but it looks pretty smooth.
Zach's been watching his dad's DVDs.
VHS.
VHS.
Right.
VHS. Yeah.
Yes.
I beat the living daylights out of our Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi VHS tapes, and then of course the Batman, Batman 1989, the one with Jack Nicholson, and the original, the first one with him as Joker. Oh my gosh, I think I watched that VHS probably 400 times. It tore like 3, and I pulled it apart, meticulously careful, and repaired it like 8 different times.
Jeez.
Wow, really?
Because, my mom was... She's like, you break it, you're buying the next one. What? I can fix it. And we didn't have YouTube back then, so...
Take a couple frames out of there and...
Oh, right?
Some super glue, you're good.
Oh, yeah. Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, yeah. Keaton will always be my first Batman, So, yeah, your number one Batman movie? Judge Dredd. Jeez, I forgot about that.
Oh man, I haven't seen that in a long time.
And then what was the other one that he did with Wesley Snipes?
Universal Soldier.
Demolition Man.
Oh, Demolition Man, right? Yeah.
That again, brilliant concept. It's actually a really fun film to watch.
Do you know the movie I watched recently was Under Siege?
Oh my god!
And that movie is awesome.
We can act it out real quick.
So good.
Slapping.
I love it.
There's
just like this lonely cook that's all like huge. He's like, I don't need any trouble, guys.
Right?
I love it.
Oh my god!
The sense of like saving everyone, and then it's like I loved it.
What kills me is having been in the Navy, watching that happen, thinking, yeah, that's not how that works.
It's so far-fetched. I love it.
Oh my!
Fight.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, there's a lot of good moments in that movie. I gotta watch it again. Actually,
Like,
it's over a year now.
Most Steven Seagal films are a riot. Like if you're watching them for no other reason than just sheer morbid entertainment,
science.
it's hilarious.
It's a mystery.
And the best part is he takes himself so seriously that he doesn't quite seeing why it's good, but just like keep doing it,
Yep. RoboCop of the 80s or RoboCop of 2014? I'm gonna be honest. As much as I loved RoboCop of 2014, RoboCop of the 80s was it. That was so edgy at the time. It was so edgy at the time. That dystopian mindset. The special effects in some cases were difficult to watch.
It's like the Total Recall remake. It was it was okay, but the original one is so good.
The original, yeah.
Like Arnie's eyes blowing out of his eye socket.
They did some really, really great prosthesis.
Visual
it's amazing.
on
I
them.
love it.
It was-
That's like the pinnacle of like Hollywood film. Is that those kind of effects?
Yeah.
It's really cool to see.
Arnold in Total Recall was better. He and he definitely fit the build more because he's got this gigantic guy working in a factory. Now you're a super spy. Yeah, that's probably explains things a little better.
Right, dude.
Ooh, look at that, guys. It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh. All right,
Thing is
let's.
a beast.
I feel like Jacob in Texas is going to be very, very happy with this. Running Man. I remember that movie.
Does the power up ever get not nerve-wracking, or is it feel?
We're on a really good streak, but it was
Well, you said it, you
nerve-wracking for
jinxed
a little bit. Yeah.
I know. I won't. No, it's gonna be good. I know it will be. It's just so funny. It's like, I've always like I've built a few PCs, and I'm like, I've had the one that smoked. So,
Oh God.
so that was early on. I was young. I swear.
The Navy doctor at the end of Under Siege worked at the fire department with me. What? That's awesome. Okay, now.
Oh, cool.
Dang it. Now I'm going to have to go back and watch it again. All right, let's go ahead and see how this works. We have got an amazing PC for Jacob in Texas. Let's power it on. What's it look like? Oop.
Boom.
The subtleness of the RGB on these fans is fantastic.
So cool. I love to see the black glass. That's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah,
And of
this
course,
is
you've got
great.
that LED runner up there. It goes up and around the power supply. Absolutely fantastic.
And that cooler
Gorgeous.
will turn on in a sec
Gorgeous
as
build.
well.
Yeah. I love it. Absolutely love it. Let's go over one more time what's inside this amazing PC for our friend Jacob in Texas. This is a CLX Raw NV7 in black, and it's got an AMD Ryzen 9 7950X 3D processor mounted on an Asus TUF Gaming X670E Plus Wi-Fi motherboard with 64 gigs of T-Force DDR5 5600 RAM, along with that RTX 4090 by TUF Gaming. We've got 3 different 2 terabyte Samsung 990 EVO M.2s plus an additional terabyte with a Seagate Barracuda in the back. Our processor is going to be cooled by a CPU by a Lian Li Trinity 360mm AIO in black. Plus, we've got 12 different Game DS Aeolus M3s, along with a black and white sleeved cable mod set that attaches itself to all of our power, which is coming from an EVGA Supernova 1000 watt GT80 Plus Gold. Excellent. Oh my gosh, that Lian Li thing, it's giving me Tony Stark. You know,
That's cool.
that is fantastic. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Kai Show for being here and hanging out with us today, especially giving a chance to give us a walkthrough for the BEACN Mix Street and the BEACN mic.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Really appreciate being here.
Yeah,
It
thank
was a
you.
pleasure.
Hanging out.
So to find out more information about BEACN and the products they offer, you can just head right on over to beacn.com. That's BACN.com. If you'd like to jump into their Discord, it's discord.gg/BEACN, BEACN. It's not bacon, it's BEACN.
Nope.
There we go.
And well, just a reminder, we have our mix week, mix month on right now. So our mix device is $99. So it's a steal.
Nice.
Yeah, good.
Nice. Get started with it. All right.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
This show happens every Tuesday and Thursday starting at 11 a.m. Pacific. That is 2 Eastern. We drop some codes for our giveaways on the green side. That's kick.com/CLXgaming. On Thursdays, we drop it on the Twitch side. That is twitch.tv/CLXgamingtv. You can also find codes in our past VODs over on our YouTube. You can also check out our socials for them. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, all CLX Gaming. You can also find them in our Discord with a bunch of other like-minded PC enthusiasts and gamers at discord.gg/CLXgaming. The other place you're going to find codes is on my stream where we play word puzzles. So with that being said, I'm going to go get ready for some Rainbow Six Siege. We're about to take a quick break, and when we come back, you're going to spend the afternoon with our friend Zach as he builds more really cool stuff. So with that being said, on behalf of Kai Show, Kyle and Jason in production, Paul and Zach, I'm DJ Blue PDX. Don't go away. We've got more coming up after the break. We'll be right back.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Cool. What is up, Scooby Gang? How's everybody doing today? So usually what I do in the break time is I'll peel the panels back off and take